Seolnar is the Korean New Year. This is originated from the Chinese lunisolar calendar, and in the year of 2022, Seolnar is in the February 1st. Seolnar celebration usually lasts for 3 days, a day before Seol, and the day after Seol. When people celebrate Seol, they do ancestral rites. Ancestral rites, which is called 제사 in Korean, is a memorial to ancestors of the family. Koreans bow to their parents or to their grandparents during Seol. This is called a 세배, and while they do 세배, they say 새해 복 많이 받으세요. This means best wishes for a happy new year. And they often get a money from their parents or their grandparents, which is called a 세뱃돈. Koreans wear hanbok, which is a traditional clothes of Korea, eat traditional food, and play traditional games.
Hi everyone, now I'll introduce you the Korean traditional food tteokguk. Tteokguk is a soup made with sliced rice cakes, usually in beef roast. It's a traditional must-eat New Year's dish. The rice cake used for the soup is karetok, which is unsweetened and shaped like a long cylinder. For the soup, karetok is sliced into thin oval shapes. The special feature of tteokguk is that it was believed to grant luck for the new year and gain an era of prosperity. The soup symbolizes a rebirth of all of the earth species, new beginnings, and the transformation into something new and fresh. Tteokguk is a meal that represents the Seolnar and reminds us of the significance of New Year's and family. Another important thing is that 1 year is added to each individual's age. It is said that one cannot become a year older until they have had a bowl of tteokguk.
Hello, I'm Lily. Today I would like to introduce 3 most famous Korean traditional games for the Lunar New Year. The first one is Yunnori, which is the most played game for the Lunar New Year. This board game consists of 3 materials: board, sticks, and markers called 발. The markers can always be replaced with small stones, buttons, or even coins. The second one is Taegi-tagi. Taegi-tagi is a game using shuttlecock called Taegi. It's similar to the Western game called hakisak. You should kick the shuttlecock so it doesn't land on the floor. The player with the highest number of kicks wins. The game may be played by single player or as a multiple game where participants pass the jegi to each other. The last one is tuho, throwing arrows into a bottle or a pot. This game was mainly played by royal families during Joseon Dynasty. The players are divided into 2 teams and throw the arrows about 10 steps away from the pot. The team throwing in more arrows into the pot or the ears of the pot wins. The arrows were in red and blue colors, while the game was typically played by men, yet occasionally enjoyed by women of royal family who received little opportunity to get outside of their home. Thank you.
So for those of you who don't already know, Tet is coming close. People are finishing up their work to prepare for this yearly traditional event. Sir, I have a question. Go ahead. What exactly is Tet? What do you say? What exactly is Tet? How the hell you don't know about Tet? Tet is the biggest and most important celebration for the Vietnamese. It is the celebration for the arrival of the New Year based on the lunar calendar, with the first day of the year falling in late January to early or mid-February. Since this is the biggest celebration for the Vietnamese, a lot of preparations need to be done, and these are the signs when you know Tet is coming. At the same time, it is the longest holidays for the locals and may last up to 7 days, which is ideally the amount of time our school have for a Tet break. Although that's only the basic definition of Tet, next up we'll be interviewing people to see how each of them feel differently about this traditional festival. Hi sir, welcome to our interview, and I have a question for you. So we all know that Tet is coming, right? But then, to yourself, what does Tet mean? Like, what is the meaning of the festival to you?
This is a very good question. So Tet to me is not only a meaningful festival, but also a decent break in which I can use it to go back to my countryside to celebrate it with my friends and most importantly, my parents and my families.
Hashtag one of the best way to spend your holidays. Okay, so what are your feelings knowing that Tet is coming?
As a student, I think it's really exciting, mainly because we'll be getting lucky money for Tet, and I know this might offend a lot of people, but that is truly something that I kind of loved during Tet. And the teacher kind of gave us a bit too much homework right before the break, so it's quite exhausting. But all in all, I think I'm looking towards it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for your interview, sir. So, all in all, Tet is a truly awesome ever-standing tradition of our nation. Still, there are a lot more things about the Tet festival, which will be addressed by my partners further on.
Hello, I'm Huy, and today I'd like to talk about the preparation that Vietnamese people do to prepare for Tết. So first we have to prepare for Ông Công Táo. We prepared special paper clothes, sticky rice, boiled chicken, fruits, flowers, and also a live carp. People usually release the carp into a river or sea. This represents that we're giving the gods a means of transportation for them to use. We also take the fruits, flowers, sticky rice, and boiled chicken and offer them to the altar. After a while, we pray to the altar and we can take the food down and enjoy it. We also take the special paper clothes and burn it to offer them to the gods as clothes for them to wear. Next step that people usually do before Tet is decorate and clean their home. We usually buy peach blossoms, apricot blossom. In most areas, we also would have a national flag in front of our house. The main theme of Tet is yellow and red, so the decorations are usually oriented around it, such as a red sofa or a orange tray. The peach blossoms and apricot blossoms are usually put in the living room, where a family will host lots of guests. Godot will also be put around the house. A fruit tray consists of 5 fruits will be put on the altar. Before Tet, people would also buy chung cake and Tet cake.
The last day of the year, according to the Lunar New Year, is very important as it marks the transition between the old year and the new year. This is thought to be the time to shake off bad luck, forget sorrows, and help have an optimistic outlook to welcome the year ahead with positive changes. Thus, people often try to complete work to their full capabilities and pay off all debts. Besides, the night before the Lunar New Year is when family members gather around and reunite for a year-end meal. Vietnamese people often prepare trays to worship ancestors to pray for good things to come to the family in the new year.
Today, I'm going to be talking about the first, second, and third day of Tet. On the first day of Tet, it is reserved for the nuclear family, which consists of the parents and the children. But that might not be the same for everyone because everyone has their own way of doing Tet. But a common and agreed upon irrefutable fact is that no one should be sweeping their house or cleaning their house during Tet because that would be sweeping away all your good luck. On those other days of Tet, or in that same day, families and friends go and greet their friends and family to wish them a good year, good health for that year, and success in the new year. And on those same days, children receive lisi, which is lucky money or mung tuổi. And in these red envelopes, you have money in it. And this used to be used to deter away demons from children because parents would used to put gold coins in red pouches to put under children's pillows and keep them safe from the demons. Another thing that people do during Tet is Songya, and a person in the family who is deemed lucky or morally good is the first to enter the house in the new year. And while doing all this, everyone is mostly wearing their azai, which I am wearing right now. And they come in so many different forms, sizes, and colors.
For Vietnam, each region has its own traditional Tet food, and in this video, I'm going to talk about the top 6 must-have dish for Tet, specifically in the northern part of Vietnam. So first on the list, we have Trứng cake. It has a very long history in Vietnamese culinary culture and is an important food of Tet. This cake represents our gratitude to the ancestor, the earth, and also the sky. It also indicates the role of rice in Vietnamese culture. The ingredients include sticky rice, sweet green beans, mildly spicy pepper, and fatty pork meat. Second on the list, we have gok sticky rice. Red in Vietnam is a color that brings luck, and because of that, the Vietnamese New Year is always filled with red. The gok sticky rice is made from a special fruit called gok, and that would produce a bright red color. The third food is dưa hành, which is also called pickled onions. This is the most famous and traditional side dish of Vietnam. In this dish, onions are soaked in sweet and sour sauce, providing a crunchy, sweet, and sour taste. It is suitable to eat with all other dishes. The fourth food would be chả lụa, which is also called pork bologna. This dish is made from 2 basic ingredients, which is pounded lean pork and fish sauce, and it is wrapped in a banana leaf. This is usually sliced horizontally and then in 5 or 6 pieces, which will be then eat with the sticky rice cake. The fifth food is whole boiled chicken, which is often served with a roast and the chicken beef. The boiled chicken is often served in every celebrations in Vietnam, and especially on Tet holiday. It symbolizes fullness and well-being. Also, it's simple, but offers both a sweet and juicy taste. Last but not least, we have fried spring rolls. This is another traditional food that can be eaten on many occasions. And of course, especially in Tet, it contains pork, wood ear, mung bean sprouts, rice noodle, wrapped by rice paper and later on fried until golden. It has a boom of flavor due to the various ingredients that it contains, which is also the reason why it is often eaten in daily life as well as in festivals.
Hi, I'm Jessica, and with the Tet season coming soon, I've noticed that in the Vietnamese culture, many things about our traditions have changed over the years, especially in cultural activities we do during this time, the food we eat during this time, and the clothes we wear. For the activities, the religious activities were a lot more demanding back then, with praying and preparing full special meals on many days during the weeks around Tet, with the total of 5 days that we usually pray on. This included many meals during those days and praying both indoors and outdoors. Nowadays, many families don't pray as much, and we only pray on 2 days with 1 meals of each day. There were also many more cultural activities around this time back then, like the big swinging events in the northern provinces, chicken fighting, wrestling, singing, and many more activities. Every culture had different activities, but nowadays in big cities we don't see this as much, and we only have fireworks on the New Year's Eve. Back then, many houses, all houses, only displayed either kumquat trees or cherry blossoms. But nowadays there's a much wider range of flowers that we display. One thing that stayed the same is that we always decorate these with red things for good luck. We also used to display calligraphies on red paper
around our house, but nowadays not as many people seek out this form of decoration. Next part is about the food. The meals we prepare nowadays are a lot less sophisticated, including only around 5 main dishes, but back in the day the most common praying meals consisted around 10 to 12. Many foods nowadays are also pre-made or bought by the families, but back in the day everyone made everything from scratch. The special cakes like chung cake are also pre-made nowadays, but back in the day all the families made these with each other and told stories around the pot of boiling cakes at night. And some families nowadays, especially in the countryside and provinces, still do this, but most families opt to buy them instead. For fashion, many in the past waited the whole year for this time because it was the only time that they would get new clothes in the whole year. This was because the people were poor back then, so the only time that they afforded clothes was for looking good for this occasion. Nowadays, this really isn't a thing anymore, as people can afford clothes year-round. Back then, there were only traditional clothes for each area, which people only wore for Tet. But nowadays, especially with the Aozai, it has been made a lot more modern, and they offer more colors and symbols on these clothes to appeal to more customers. All in all, old or new, these traditions still mean a lot to us Vietnamese people, but as the years come, we've learned to celebrate Tet in our own way, while still respecting the old customs and traditions. We just adapt these traditions to better suit our lives and the modern society. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Sadika, and after all the cultural insights from the Vietnamese and Korean students, I will share my experience as a non-Vietnamese student. So to begin with, if you do not traditionally celebrate festivals like Lunar New Year or Tet, I still recommend that you be open-minded and learn more about them. With the same inspiration, in this segment, I will share 2 things that I see around Tet, my initial assumptions, and what they actually mean. So the first one that I would like to introduce is definitely Kumquat Tree, because the first way I know Tet is near is when I see one of these vendors balancing these many kumquat trees on a single motorbike. So at first I just thought that kumquat trees are just auspicious and like a Vietnamese or Asian version of the Christmas tree, but in my research I got to know a lot more. So firstly, the kumquat tree is a symbol of fertility and fruitfulness that families wish will come to their home. Secondly, it's also believed that more fruit there is in the tree, the more lucky the family will be. And I think the most meaningful interpretation of this will be how people think that the kumquat tree represents 4 generations. So the flowers are the parents, the fruits are grandparents, the buds are the children, and the small green leaves are the grandchildren. Secondly, the lucky money definitely needs a mention here, because there have been a lot of instances when my family has received lucky money living in Vietnam, and I was just left wondering, what is its significance? So in my Indian culture, giving money at weddings is a common practice because it represents good fortune and blessings. So I assume that in Vietnam, this will be similar, but my research taught me that lucky money is a small amount of money that elders usually give to the younger generation, and it is given in a red envelope because red is considered an auspicious color in Asia. With that, I hope that you will make the efforts to learn about these festivals this Lunar New Year, and until then, chúc mừng năm mới.
In the capacity of teacher responsible for the Reigate Grammar School Vietnam Student Council, and on behalf of the Chairwoman, Deputy Chairwoman, Governance Team and Student Council members, I wish to say chúc mừng năm mới. Wishing you all success in all you set out to accomplish this year, good health and good fortune to you and your family.